You're listening to the Business Brain Food Podcast. This is episode number 78.
Welcome to the business podcast that gives you direct access to the world's leading experts on everything you need to know to help you build a better business. Be the first to know about future shows and get access to free downloads plus exclusive business content by subscribing at actioncoachanz.com today. Now here's your host, Ben Futrell.
Well, g'day and welcome back to another episode of Business Brain Food. This, my friend, is the podcast that is 120% dedicated to taking you and your business to the next level. And the good news is, doesn't matter whether you're brand new to this business thing, so maybe you're just kicking off your entrepreneurial idea, or maybe you're like myself and you've been in business for a long, long time. The good news is, it doesn't matter where you are, this podcast is all about helping you go to that next level because it's all about growing, isn't it? I love that saying. The saying is, we're like a tree. We're either growing or we're dying. There is no sort of plateau. So if you feel like you're plateauing, you're probably going backwards, and plateau is just an excuse. We're either growing or dying. And this podcast is about helping you grow. And so, today is absolutely no different. I'm pretty excited today. I've got Tom Breeze coming on the show. Now, if you haven't heard of Tom, Tom is a leading video advertising expert from the UK. Well, he's got a business in the UK called Viewability. But we'll talk a little bit more about Tom very, very shortly, and I'll give you a sort of an insight into who he is. And during the podcast, he's actually going to give you a 75-minute masterclass video for free. You just got to listen to the podcast interview, and you'll hear how to get a hold of that masterclass for free. And I think you really enjoy it. If you're into video advertising, which you must be, you've started listening to this episode, then I think you're going to really enjoy it. Now, I just wanted to quickly once again say thanks so much for tuning in each and every week. I love the fact that we get to connect. I get great feedback from everybody that I bump into that listens to the podcast about the quality of the podcast, the guests that we have, and the content that we're covering. And it encourages me to keep going. It can be a hard slog sometimes doing the old podcast, but I do love it. Luckily, it's one of those things that I really enjoy doing, so I can't see myself stopping in a hurry. In fact, I'm launching the DBT podcast as well. So if you're listening to this down the track, check out for the DBT, the Daily Business Tips podcast. It's a daily episode of a business tip coming out every day. Anyway, I'm getting a bit off track. What I really love is the feedback that I get in the iTunes Store and the Stitcher app and any of those apps where I get the feedback. And because it does a couple of things for me. Number one is it tells me that you're enjoying the show. So your honest review and rating, I read every single one of them. So I'd really appreciate it if you are enjoying the show, if you could do that for me. The second thing it does is it helps other people who stumble across the podcast to decide whether or not the Business Brain Food podcast is for them. That's a big help because people can sort of read the reviews and go, yep, I'm going to spend my time having a bit of a listen to this podcast and see if it is for me. There is another benefit for me, and that is that if you go in and review and rate the show and the show ends up with a lot of review and ratings that are positive, then iTunes will show it further up the rankings. And when people do a search for a business podcast, we'll get a little bit more exposure. So you're really going to be helping me out by leaving your review or rating. Now, I don't expect you to take time out and do this without some sort of reward or thank you present from me. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to reward each and every one of those that decides to leave a review by the end of March. We're going to run this through to the end of the March and see what it's like. Now, if it's really popular and I can see a lot of people are leaving their reviews and it works well, then I will maybe extend it after that. But at this point, up until the end of March, the 31st of March, I'm going to offer anyone who leaves a review or rating on any of the sites, the podcast sites, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher or something completely different, you're going to get a copy of a CD, an audio training I did. That's a little bit over an hour, valued at $70. Okay, and I'm going to post that to you free of charge. I'll cover the postage. All you have to do is go into your favorite podcast app, leave a review and rating, and then screen capture that or copy and paste it and email it to me. My email address is ben@actioncoachanz.com. That's ben@actioncoachanz.com. Now, the reason I'm asking you to email it to me is quite often the username that you'd use inside these different review apps is a little bit different to what your normal name is. And that's because, and I've read a few of them out before, they make me laugh because you can't get the one you want because your name's already taken. So you're going to email it to me and we'll collate those. And when you email it, make sure you send me through your postal address, etc., or we'll have to chase you up for that. And we'll send you out a copy of that DVD Sorry, I keep calling it a DVD. It's not. It's an audio CD training that I did. The reason I'm saying DVD is I do have a little bonus thing that I'm going to offer in a second. But the audio CD is over an hour of training from me on how to build your business. And I take you through a formula for building your business and increasing your profits and your turnover, your sales. And, I think, if you enjoy the podcast, you're going to enjoy the audio CD. It normally sells for $69. You're going to get it for free just by leaving an honest review and rating. And then, as I said, screen capture it and send it through to ben@actioncoachanz.com. Now, we'll leave that in the show notes as well, so it's easy for you to find. Now, the second part of the bonus is that, so each and every one of you that leaves a review will just get that CD, but you'll also go into the draw for a $500 DVD pack. So what I'm going to do is every single person that leaves a review will get a CD, and then you'll go into the draw for a 7 DVD pack valued at $497. And it's 18 hours of training from Brad Sugars. Brad Sugars is the guy that started Action Coach. It's now in over 60 countries. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, worthwhile listening to. And he recorded a training that he did on DVD, and it's 18 hours on 7 DVDs. It's absolutely amazing. People love this training, and we normally sell it for $497. One lucky reviewer is going to get the DVD pack. Okay, so every single person that submits a review will get the CD, and then at the end of March, I'll close it off at midnight, March 31, Australian Eastern Standard Time, and then what we'll do is in the beginning of April, we'll draw it and announce it on the first or second episode in April who the winner is for the $500 DVD pack. So there you go. Head across to your favourite app and leave an honest review and rating. All right, let's get stuck into today's episode. It is a bit longer than normal, but Tom had a lot of great stuff. We were really getting into it, and I've actually invited Tom to come back on later in the year because I think you're going to love this episode. Sometimes we have episodes where it's great content, but it's not as easy to execute or as actionable. And other times we get a guest who's just really good at breaking it down into a step-by-step, and Tom really has done that today. He's giving you lots of really actionable steps, things that you can do as you're listening or after you listen. I think you're going to really enjoy it. Now, Tom Breeze is the founder of a video advertising agent called Viewability. And, we'll put his website link up in the show notes if you want to go and check out Viewability. But what they do is they build thousands of video ad campaigns for their clients in many different industries across the world, and then they test and track all the results. So they've got, amazing stats to know what is and what isn't working. And it sort of makes Tom, Tom definitely is a leading video advertising expert. He also then educates business owners and marketing teams at tombreeze.com. So that's sort of where... So the agency, Viewability, is where if you want them to do it for you, but tombreeze.com is where you can go if you want to learn how to do it yourself. So if you're inspired to learn how to do the video advertising, or maybe you're a marketer that works with your clients, then you can go to tombreeze.com and there you can learn how to do it yourself, how to build and optimize video ads. Tom has created over 1,700 video advertising campaigns for his agency clients, tested and tracked all the results. And so it's not theory. This is actual real-world stuff that you're going to learn from Tom today. Just a quick message from me before the interview starts, and then we'll get stuck straight into the interview. Are you feeling chained to your business? When you started your business, was it so you could be your own boss, work less hours and make more money? Did you want to spend more time with your family, have annual holidays and enjoy life more? If you're like most business owners I meet, you're spending most of your time working in your business rather than on your business. You're stuck on the tools or behind a desk and never seem to get the time to do the things you love. I've got a couple of questions for you. If you were to go away on holidays for a month or worse, you got too sick to work, what would happen to your business? What would happen to your income and what would happen to your family? If your business relies on you being there and you doing all the work, then it's really just a job. You could probably get a job working for someone else and get paid more than you pay yourself right now. Plus, you'd get things like annual leave and sick leave and wouldn't have the stress of running your own business. I believe a business should work without you. If you decide to take a break or the unthinkable does happen and you get too sick to work, you'd still have a solid income. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Ben, how could my business possibly run without me? Imagine if your business gave you the time, money and freedom you always wanted. Over the last decade, I have been teaching people just like you how to build a business that works without you. Using a proven formula, I've helped people just like you make more money from their business whilst going from working 90 hours per week in their business to not having to work in their business at all. How? I've proudly built Australia's leading and most awarded business coaching and training firm. By working with one of my trained business growth teams step by step, they'll teach you how to do things like recruit, train, and retain the right team. Put together a marketing plan that actually works. Manage your time more effectively. Get your customers coming back more often. Manage your cash flow and your budgets. Set up systems so your business doesn't rely on you. How to use technology to save you time and money. How to grow your business in a predictable and manageable way. And best of all, work less hours and spend more time doing the things that you love. I'm looking for a limited number of business owners to work with who want to learn how to take their business to the next level. If you're the one I'm looking for, you're ready to stop working hard in your business and start working on your business. You'll have at least 2 employees and are looking to grow your team. Now don't worry, we'll show you how to recruit some great people. You're also able to handle a 40 to 60% jump in your sales in the next year, maybe more, and you're coachable and ready to learn. Most of all, you're willing to invest at least an hour a day in growing your business. It could be you, or if not, a competitor if you don't act fast. To find out if you qualify, call now on 02 9111 5000 or go to businessassessment.com.au. We'll ask you a few quick questions, and if you qualify, we'll book you in for a one-on-one 90-minute business assessment. During this assessment, we'll work out if we're a good fit, and if we are, great. We'll talk to you about how to get you started. And if you're not a good fit, we'll let you know that too. Call now 02 9111 5000 or go to businessassessment.com.au to see if you qualify. Talk soon.
Business Brain Food.
So pretty excited today to have a guest all the way from the UK on the Business Brain Food podcast. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fabulous, mate. Fabulous. How's the weather going in sunny UK today?
Sunny UK, yeah. You wish. It's anything but at the moment. It's horrible weather. We're right in the middle of our winter. You're right in the middle of your summer. So very, very different altogether.
Very, very different weather, isn't it? Now, every single guest that comes on the show gets asked this very first question, and you're not going to escape, and that is for you to share something quirky about yourself.
It's time for something quirky. And now, something quirky.
Okay, so my quirky thing would have to be, at the moment, I am surviving off 4 hours of sleep over the last 48 hours. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. And you probably will tell by the end of the interview. But
if we get some snoring, we'll just yell down the mic, say, and get you awake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't worry, I'm all right.
And what's been keeping you up?
Okay, so I've got 2 very young boys. Firstborn was like 18 months ago, and then we had the age gap between the 2 boys is 15 months. So that was some quick work from my wife and I. But it took us like 3 years to get the first one, and then like overnight, we just kind of it felt like overnight at least. The second one came along, and they're both not very well at the moment. So we've both basically been at our stations doing the best we can to survive as new parents and things, and still trying to get the hang of it. But yeah, at the moment I'm feeling fine. I think adrenaline is pushing me through this, but yeah, I'm feeling good.
Well, thanks for still taking the time out to come on the podcast. I know you're probably tired and would just want to go to bed and have a sleep. But I've been there, mate. Been there. Got 2 kids myself. For me now, they've both grown up. My son's 18 and my daughter's 16, so they take a little less care even when they are sick. But certainly I feel for you, mate. But let's get stuck into the chat then, because I think, digital marketing is fast becoming a real must for the modern day business. And a lot of people are struggling with this, and you really focus on the video side. And I think that's an area that is still, it's while some people have an understanding of things like Google AdWords and Facebook advertising, I think the video advertising space is still very, very misunderstood. So I'd really be keen to hear a bit about that. But first of all, maybe you could share with us what got you involved in video marketing.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. I think that even today, when you look at, I think everyone hears amazing stuff about YouTube advertising, and just YouTube in general, really, I think as well for business. It's like this up and coming thing. Everyone hears this amazing stuff about like really high quality leads, you get really good customers, very cheap, and they're all very inspired by it. And then there's a very distinct lack of action. No one actually ever gets into it. And I think it's because people don't know what to do or really how to do it. And that's hopefully what I can shed some light on during this call and give people some insights of like the specific steps to take to actually get this stuff done. Yeah, when I started out, I actually, my background is very scientific. So I studied for what was it, like about 6 years, I think it was in the end, doing an undergraduate in psychology. That was like university, studying psychology, and then after that I went on to do my master's as well, and during my master's, I trained in lots of different types of disciplines around psychology, so NLP and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy. And I went down that therapy route for a while, helping people like overcoming anxieties, fears, and even whilst I was still quite young, I still consider myself quite young now. I'm 32, but the approach.
I'd call that young at 43.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
And I think that when I was working with clients and doing that one-to-one session and doing the therapy with them, I started realizing that I was very good at one area in particular, which was where I would teach people how to overcome the fear and anxiety of presenting and speaking in public. And in London, there's lots and lots of people in the business district, and people are looking for that sort of work all the time. And so that was my kind of like upbringing, my training, and I always was very, very scientific, and I built a big business off the back of just that type of approach. And I just realized as I was doing it more and more, I had a website, and it was like a real standard brochure website, nothing special at all, just simply kind of like the About Us page, the What We Do page, very, very simple indeed. And it was like the early days of websites, really, so there was nothing fancy going on. And then I saw someone in the States had put a video on their website. And I was like, wow, that is looking really cool. And I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't have a clue on how they did it, what was going on there. And I decided I was going to try and master it. And I remember buying a video camera at the time, sticking it up in my office in Covent Garden, which is right in the centre of London, filming myself, and it was a terrible video, but it was my first one. It took me about 80 takes because I thought it has to be perfect, and I can't make a mistake because I was teaching people how to speak in public, so I better be good at it. And I remember I was recording my audio on a dictaphone, so I had to sync it up afterwards. It was an absolute nightmare. But I got this video done in the end. It took me about a month to do in terms of getting the script down, getting it shot, getting it filmed, and I did it all myself. I uploaded it to YouTube and then worked out how to take that video and embed it on my site. So the video was actually on the site there. And I remember I was spending a lot of money on AdWords at the time, like paying pay-per-click. So if someone typed in the fear of public speaking or how to overcome the anxiety of public speaking, my ads would appear at the top of the search results on Google. And they'll click to come back to my website. And then around about at the time, it was about 7% of people that visited the website would end up leaving their name and email and a brief message, and I would call them back, basically. That was how the business worked. Quite simple, no extravagant sales funnel or anything like that. It was just like, okay, here's how simple it can be. I put the video on, and all of a sudden my conversion rate went from about 7% to 22% overnight. And all of a sudden I was spending the same amount on Google AdWords, but 3 times as many people were contacting me and saying they wanted to have a session with me. And I was like, wow, that was just one video. It took me a long time to do it, but once I'd done it once, I kind of knew how to do it. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And so then, because of the increased lead generation, I ended up realizing I was filling my diary too quickly. And I said, well, maybe I should put on workshops and trainings and that sort of approach instead of just the one-to-one stuff. And I did that. Did it for a group of business owners, and taught them how to speak in public and how to communicate effectively and all that sort of good stuff. At lunch, one of the guys came up to me and said, oh, I saw your video. How did you do that? And I started talking about how I did this video, and everybody in this workshop were like, oh, they were all listening in, and they were kind of like, well, this is what we're here for, really. We want to know how to do video. We want to know how to kind of come across for our business and the best way of doing that. So I ended up turning this whole workshop plan into just how to do video. And basically from there, I just created more and more video, did more and more video workshops. And in the end, I kind of got into a lot more YouTube advertising. And all of a sudden, I was just in this world of video. And I ended up stopped doing the work I used to do. And now I've built it up. So now I have an agency, in fact, running YouTube advertising. We do a bit of Facebook advertising for clients as well. But the way that I've set up the business and the agency is that we get paid on results now. So we don't get we don't charge a monthly fee or anything like that. What we do instead is just say, we'll get paid when we generate you leads or customers. And so when we work with our clients, if we generate a number of leads, they'll pay us accordingly. So it's all based on results. And I think that's how I've known advertising to be most successful, where I feel like I'm working with the client as opposed to for the client. And we're both in it together to try and get the best results. And everyone wins, and it's a lot more fun that way. And so so now like viewability, we run that agency, and we do a lot of video advertising for clients, and it's great fun. I can't believe I've fallen into this in a way, but I suppose it's just like that evolution of skills to get me to where I am today, and built the agency, and it's been going very strong now for a few years, and long way it continue.
Well done, because we also love to hear the success stories of entrepreneurs on the Business Brain Food podcast. As I said, all the listeners are business owners. They want to hear these success stories. What I want to make sure, because we sort of skipped over very quickly because I didn't want to interrupt you, but you said your conversion rate went from 7% to 22%. I just want to highlight that for the listeners, because that you actually reduced your acquisition cost per lead by 66%. That's substantial. That's a substantial saving in acquiring a lead just by putting a video. What was on your homepage, was it?
It was just on the page that they landed on. Yeah, I didn't even know what the difference was between an opt-in page and a homepage, or at that stage. I don't even think that was the terminology at that point, because it's just like, oh, have you got your website done? Yes, great. But yeah, basically the video was just on my website, it's on the homepage. So the page they landed on from the click from the Google ad, they would end up on that page and my video would play.
Yeah.
And as a result, 3 times as many people would be opting in and leaving their name and email with a brief message, and we just found we were converting so many more people as a result of just one video.
And the other thing that
started off the whole journey.
Yeah, and the other thing that you said about that, and this is good for the listeners to hear, the other thing you said about that was it was your very first video. It took you about 80 takes to make, and you thought it sucked. So, here's a video that by your own admission you're saying wasn't very good, but it reduced your acquisition cost by 66% or tripled the amount of leads you got from your website. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
I mean, hey, look, do you know what I think the biggest thing that people forget is that video doesn't need to be really complicated. If we break down what happens on YouTube, if you imagine let me give you a quick story, in fact, because this is what happened just recently. When we knew we were having our second boy coming along, we had to change our buggy. So, like the buggy, I don't know if you call it the same thing. It's like a pram to
stroller, pram,
kids around. Yep. Stroller, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at that time, we knew we had to get a new one, because we had to get this dual one. There's not that many of them around, really. Not easy to get your hands on them and test them out, sort of thing. So I went online, did a search, and started doing my research about buggies for dual buggies and things. And I was sitting there with my wife, looking on my iPad, going through some stuff. And we ended up on YouTube, because they'll do all the instructional videos and they do the how-to videos. And most of the time, these buggies, as you all know, is that you want to make sure that you're getting the right buggy that fits in your car, that's lightweight, not really clunky, and until you actually get to see what it's like, you're kind of feel more confident in your purchase. So we're doing all this research, ended up on YouTube, and kind of from the video ads, we saw how simple this one product was and ended up buying it. And that's something that's happening on YouTube all the time. And we don't really realize, sometimes we feel like YouTube is purely for, let's say it's going to be for entertainment reasons, or watching cat videos, or babies laughing, or whatever it might be. But really, we're doing a lot of research on YouTube. Everyone's doing loads and loads of research all the time to kind of research products or get how-to videos, and looking for information about and wanting to learn more about certain topics, etc. We're looking this stuff up all the time. So for every business owner, in the vast majority of cases, your customers are there already. They're waiting, they're searching. They're actually in that research mode where it's the perfect time to get in front of them. And the video doesn't need to be this really whiz-bang ad or anything like that. It doesn't need to be TV quality. All you're looking for is someone to be honest and genuine and say what's the truth, really. And so when we're watching these buggy videos, I didn't care if it had this professional studio-lit product at all. I'd much prefer if there was a mum there talking about, here's the product, here's why it's so good, here's why I like it so much, just giving an honest review. And that as a video is so much more powerful. And it's the same thing when it comes to any advertising. On YouTube, people don't necessarily want to have that slick ad experience. They want to have that honesty and that integrity in the video. And if you can just say it as it is and just be honest, and it doesn't have to be this really clever sales pitch or anything like that, and just do the video, it's really difficult to not get it right. And people see that straight away, and that's what people want on YouTube. They're not expecting that commercial. They're expecting that just honesty, and that what YouTube is all about, really. And if you start creating those videos and keep it simple, it works incredibly well.
Yeah, which is great news for most people that because I think that is a big fear for a lot of people, and we'll come because one of the things that you said before is people don't know how to do it. So we need to get to that because I think that's what the listeners are going to want is some step by step. Here's how you get on with advertising on YouTube. But I think what you're saying is 100% correct. Is a lot of people think they have to have this highly produced video when really it doesn't need to be much at all. And I think the good thing that I've seen happen on YouTube over the last couple of years is there's a lot of people that are doing independent reviews because they're earning money from I think the ads that are laid over their videos. But they're not, they're not paid to do it. They're not endorsing the product. They're just products they've bought and used. So you can get, if you've got customers who are using your product, even that's probably a good idea is to try and get them to do review videos for you and just use their smartphone, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the most popular videos, or popular channels, I should say, actually, on YouTube, and this is going back to February as of last year, so a year ago. The reason I say it from that is because I've got a slide on my presentation I normally give that's from a year ago. But I'm sure it's kind of carried on with huge amounts of success. But the channel is like more popular than Taylor Swift and Jimmy Fallon and all these amazing kind of like production type videos out there. The actual most popular channel with the most amount of views is an unboxing channel for Disney products. So
wow,
it's just crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it? It's like you think to yourself, like, oh, no one goes to YouTube to look up product reviews and stuff, and do they really do that? Do you know what? I think we're all blind to the fact that we all do this. I think we all, especially more of a younger generation, especially at this stage, but obviously the younger generation are going to get older, so now's the time to get into it.
Yeah.
But people are using YouTube so much for this research phase, for this understanding of what a product can do, how useful a product can be, get like a hands-on feel. It's like you're almost like window shopping to a certain extent, and you're getting to see exactly what the product does, how it all works. And it's the closest thing you can have to actually experiencing it in a shop. So yeah, simple videos about product reviews can work really, really well. And of course, if your competitors are bringing out videos, or if you've got like thought leaders in your space or anything like that, those are the perfect videos to target and show your ads in front of those videos. And you're getting in front of a really targeted audience. So yeah, the video quality doesn't need to be like ridiculously high. People aren't looking for that. People don't necessarily want that. It just needs to get in front of the right people at the right time, really.
Yeah, it needs to be real. All right, well, let's get stuck into some steps of how to actually use video as a way to market a business, because I think that's, a lot of listeners are sitting here going, well, how do I use these videos? Now I know I can create them. I can do them on the cheap. I can do them with a smartphone or a cheap camera. Don't have to be overly polished. Once we've got videos being created, how do we use those?
For sure. Okay, so one way to look at YouTube is first of all start with what do you think your customers are looking for. Okay, so this is kind of like I follow like what's called a 4P formula. In the agency, we always look at these 4 Ps, and the first P is the platform itself. That's like YouTube and almost the ecosystem of YouTube, how it actually works. So say, for example, I don't know, let's say, for example, we were looking to get into selling, like if we had a product of selling kites, for example, that might be the products we have. We want to sell kites to people that want to do outdoor activities, for example. If that's the case, and we've created this video that shows off the type of kite it is, and just you can see how it all works, etc. It doesn't need to be amazing. It's just like, here's what the product does. That's great. Like a demonstration video for 2 to 3 minutes. That's great. Then what we've got to do is you've got to think about what people will be typing in to get to YouTube, that your products will be right for them at that right time. So what ends up happening is that on YouTube, if you were to search something out like the best kite, if that was going to be someone's search term, like best kite 2015, maybe it could be a good keyword, or best kite reviews, or best power kite, for example. Those types of keywords could be really, really good because they're really interested. If someone types that into YouTube, the first thing that happens on YouTube is that you get a page of search results, and they show you lots of different types of videos about different kite videos and all that sort of good stuff. At the top of the search results will be typically 2 sponsored or promoted video ads. And those 2 top spaces are actually what's called an Indisplay ad. They're at the top of the search results, and you basically want to make sure you appear there when someone's typing in a keyword that's right for your product. So that if you're selling kites and someone says best power kite 2015 or best power kite or anything like that, obviously you're going to want to be bidding on that particular keyword and making sure as soon as they type that in, your video appears at the top. Now, whenever I do this on stage and I speak to a large audience and I say, right, who here is advertising on YouTube? And I'm talking about like marketers sitting in the audience. We would definitely have less than 10% of marketers using YouTube ads, which is a good thing from a competitive standpoint, because it means that there's so much open space right now. If you have a product that your competitors aren't using YouTube ads, the actual cost of getting your ad at the top of the search results is so cheap. You're looking at pennies on the views. And if you've got if someone's typing in that right keyword search and your video appears at the top of the search results and they decide to click play, you might pay 1 or 2 cents maybe, and you're getting a really good ad, like a really good honest video in front of them and saying, hey, look, if you want to go and buy it, this kite that we're demonstrating on this video, just click this. And you can actually have a link inside the video so they can click that and it'll take them straight back to the website where they can go and make their purchase if they wish. So that would be the first step. I'd always say, look, make sure your videos appear in the search results for those really good quality keywords that you just know are got a full of buying intent and such and want to find out more. I mean, we've been talking about like a kite for now as like a product that we could potentially be selling, but it could be easily something else. It could be something like how to speak in public, for example, and like just from my previous business. And then you just have a video there that teaches a few tips or bits of advice about how to speak in public and say, hey, look, if you like this, you're going to love what I've got for you next. Go and sign up for my webinar, for example. So whatever your keywords might be, just make sure you kind of match the video content to that particular keyword, and you're going to do pretty well. If you're not doing well from that, then there's something drastically wrong, because you're basically just putting the right ad in front of the right person at the right time when they're searching. And that's kind of the formula to think about.
So it's a very, very targeted way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely the place to start, because there's a lot of search going on YouTube. I think there's something like 3 billion views every single day or whatever it is. I don't really pay attention to too much of that because it depends on what niche you're in, right? But the fact is there's so many people going to YouTube every single day looking this stuff up. And the beauty is we're not YouTube's not a platform where it's like contextual advertising. And what I mean by that is like, it's not the platform where you're marketing to people based on their interests or based on what they could potentially be interested in. It's not like you're showing a golfing ad in a golfing magazine, which would fit, but you still don't know if it's the right time for the reader. A bit like Facebook as well. If you're targeting Facebook ads, you're normally going to be going for like interests. And say for example, if someone said, I'm really interested in GoPro, for example, then it might be that good audience for me to sell my kite to, for example. But it's not the right timing for the customer. You're hoping it's the right time. But they're not searching for a kite at that point. Whereas on YouTube, that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to YouTube off their own backs. They're saying, I'm interested in kites. I'm going to YouTube to search for what's the best kite out there in the marketplace right now. And if you've got a good product that fits that search, it's kind of like you've got a really motivated searcher, which is going to be so close to it with such buying intent. It's almost like they've got the credit card in hand, ready to make that purchase, which just makes the whole YouTube, the selling from YouTube, that much easier.
Now
you might find this.
You've used a product there a fair bit as an example, but you've also mentioned your course. So it could be a service as well, so a product or a service that they're typing in looking for something to do with that service, couldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So you could think of any service whatsoever. All I'd always say is like, if you've got a service of some sort, it's almost like giving a demonstration of how good your service is really important. Because remember, people are going to YouTube to learn information, looking to how-to videos, and people know that that's what they're there for. So try and give them that content and make sure that content is so valuable that they want to take the next step with you. So I've got a video that works incredibly well for me, which is like the 5 steps to crush it with YouTube ads on YouTube. And people watch that, they get some incredible content for like 5 minutes of me talking about here's like the 5 steps you must implement to get really good results with YouTube ads. And at the end of it, I have just a call to action link to say, click here to go and register for a long presentation. That formula works very, very well indeed. You get really high quality leads. So if, say, for example, if someone was offering some sort of service, I would say, try and put like your best foot forward in certain terms of like some of your best content in your video. I would say keep it to 2 to 3 minutes, because that's like the sweet spot tend to find. And if you create a 2 to 3 minute video, maybe a couple of really good strategies or techniques or systems you might be able to teach people in that shortest period of time, then what you can do is make sure that video appears at the top of the search results. And as soon as someone clicks it, you're going to be giving that good quality value. The viewer's going to get to know, like, and trust you, and want to then take the next step with you and go onto the website and start signing up from there.
Yeah, and even if they don't sign up, not to get too technical, but you can build an audience, can't you? Like a remarketing or retargeting audience. So
precisely, yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's something we'll talk about in due course. Actually, that's like one of the final P's. But right. I'll go through that in a minute.
Well, I won't jump too far ahead. So the first one is platform, and make sure that when people are looking for what it is you've got, that you've got some in-display ads showing somewhere to really grab their attention. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when it comes to the YouTube platform, there's various types of ads that you can actually show. And one of them is that first one that people will see is that display ad which appears at the top of the search results. You want to make sure your ad's there, because that's the first moment at which they might see they've hit the search results. They're thinking, right, which video do I want to play? Which one I'm going to choose? And if you've got a good kind of like solid video to say, here's why this kite is the best, or here's 3 strategies to kind of like trade Forex more effectively, or whatever it might be. If you have a good video there showing at the top of the search results, it's likely to get played. And if you've got good content there with a good strong call to action, people are likely to take the next step with you, because they're in that search mode, they're in that research mode. They want to find out more information about services and products and take the next step.
Awesome. So step P2, okay, what's the second P?
P2, okay, so, well, the P's, the way I look at it is like, okay, so the first P is the platform, so understanding where the ads can appear. The second P is like targeting the person. So when you're advertising on YouTube, you're using the AdWords platform. So you're kind of using AdWords to run your video ads and on YouTube. And it means that we can tap into some of the real power of AdWords, meaning that we can target people based on any location. So whether it be down to a zip code or a postcode, or even if we went down to like, we can go as close as a road sometimes, but I wouldn't recommend that for YouTube ads. I would say go a little bit wider to maybe a town or a city, then obviously go larger and larger, and obviously you can be international if you wish to as well. So you've got the whole world you can advertise to. And you can go by gender, you can go by age group, you can go by parental status, loads and loads of different things you can go by. In the first instance I talked about there being at top of the search results, you want to go by keywords. So choose your demographics and choose your locations you want to advertise to, but then choose keywords, because you can just type in the keywords you want to make sure that you appear for, and it's actually very easy to run that sort of ad. It's just getting used to the AdWords platform. If you're not used to it, don't overcomplicate it. Just know that you're going to run an in-display campaign to get there. So the first P is the platform. The second P is the person, which is targeting the right person, which we just talked about there. The third P is your promotion. So the actual kind of ad that you're going to choose to create. We've talked about like the 2 to 3 minute ad at the moment. That's kind of like the demonstration type video, giving away some tips or strategies, or walking through a demonstration of an ad. And then the fourth P is what we call the pursuit. And the pursuit really is like the whole campaign. What's the whole strategy behind what you're selling? So if it's an e-commerce product like a kite, for example, that's going to be pretty simple. It goes from the video to the offer page, the sales page, and if they buy, great. If they don't, you're going to want to remarket them, and then follow them up with other ads. If you're selling a service, again, you're going to probably go into the landing page, or you could go to a blog page sometimes as well, and then you're going to ask people to opt in at that stage as well. So if we keep in mind those 4 Ps, like the platform, the person, the promotion, and the pursuit, and just make sure that we're kind of keeping an eye on those things, we then plug in the campaigns. So I know I'm going this backwards a little bit here, but so keep those 4 Ps in mind, and I can keep on repeating them so people can get it into their minds. But the first campaign that we'd run would be that in-search campaign, so like the appearing at the top of the search results with your video when they type in a keyword. The second campaign is what we're all familiar with, which is the pre-roll ads. Those are the ones that appear at the in front of the videos you're about to watch. So let's say, for example, let's keep to this kite business analogy for now. Say, for example, I was about to watch a video about a new type of kite that is actually a competitor's video. So I'm not up with my kites, so I don't know different brand names. But let's say it's brand A and brand B. I wish I chose different products now. I don't know why I chose kites, but there we go.
Everyone knows what a kite is anyway. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So say, for example, there's brand A and brand B of kites. Now, if I was selling brand B, but brand A had lots of videos out there about here's my different kites and here's lots of different videos about these kites, and also there might be lots of people out there creating review videos about the kites as well, or just showing off, like, oh, here's the kite I used the other day, look how good I am at kind of like flying kites, for example. As a brand B kite owner, a actual kite seller, I can put my video ad on top of pretty much all those videos. So as soon as you're about to watch the video about kites or someone flying this particular kite, your ad can come in front of them. And you can pay to be appearing as a pre-roll or what's actually called an in-stream ad. Now this gets really interesting because, first of all, with the targeting, so talking about that second P, the person, you can really target really, really intelligently, because you can say, yes, locations and demographics and all that sort of good stuff, but you can actually just pinpoint the actual videos you want your video to appear in front of. So you can literally say, that video there, yes, I want to appear in front of that one. That video there, yes, I want to appear in front of that one. So you can literally choose it by the URL and say, I want to choose that video, that video, that video, that video, that. And so you can just like choose as many videos as you want that you think are going to be relevant. And you can really, really be very specific. Now, here's the extra thing that's really cool about it. Not only is it dirt cheap, but you won't pay anything as an advertiser unless someone decides to interact with your video ad. And what I mean by interact is like the viewer has to watch past 30 seconds, or they'll click a link in the ad itself and go back to your website. But you're only going to pay for the engagement. If someone decides to press skip ad, and that's pretty much what we all do, by the way. But if you create a good ad that diverts them away from that skip ad button, they think, actually, yeah, I'm going to go back to the website. I want to check out what this is all about. Or decide to watch your video. The only time you'll pay as an advertiser is when someone interacts with your video. And that is just really, really powerful, because all those people that just are not interested in the ad won't cost you a penny. You're only paying for the people that are interested in that ad. So you can find that you can run some very, very powerful campaigns using the in-stream campaign, or using like the pre-roll ads. Same thing. But the way you target those sorts of people are with the placements. So instead of keywords, you go by placements, which is basically the video URLs. You're saying, I want to choose all those different videos. And it makes it so easy to optimize your campaigns, because if any video that you're advertising on doesn't work out for any reason, you can just turn it off and just keep with the ones that do make a return on investment for you. So it's a very, very cheap way of running a different campaign.
Yeah, and it sounds it's almost like a bit of stealth marketing, isn't it? Because if your competitor's really active at putting up videos, reviews, or tutorials, you can advertise during their video.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I mean, so like we call it like the direct keywords, which is like the obvious ones. Like if you're selling kites, it would be things like the best kite 2015. And then you'd look for all the videos that would kind of contain that type of keyword. And so people will be like, kite reviews, the best power kites, and all those sort of kind of videos. You definitely want to appear in front of all those videos that would show for those sort of keywords. But then you start to get the more contextual type keywords, which are slightly less relevant to the core, like direct searched video, which might be like GoPro videos, for example. So you could probably target, let's say, parents, so who have got kids, who are looking up GoPro videos, because you know they're interested in outdoor activities if they're kind of watching lots of GoPro videos, and there's hundreds of thousands of millions of views out there. And so there's a huge market there. And if you can sell your kites, like your power kites, to those people that are parents who are interested in kind of like some sort of weekend activity or something along those lines, you can target those people in particular and say, right, I just want to advertise to dads or mums who are interested in kind of outdoor activities, because they're looking at those sorts of videos and looking at sort of GoPro videos. That would be a good audience for you to test out whether you can sell your kites to that audience. And the same thing applies to any service as well. So for me, I sell YouTube advertising, and we do a bit of Facebook video advertising as well. When we target that, we wouldn't just go for YouTube ad specific keywords. We would go for slightly like less kind of like direct videos, maybe direct keywords, sorry, more contextual, maybe like how to get more customers, how to get more leads for my business, because my content still fits for that search term, and I can still get my videos in front of that audience, but the audience is so much broader and so much bigger. I might not get quite as cheap a cost per lead, but it still could bring in a very, very good ROI, and the reach is much, much larger. So you start to see how you can really build out these campaigns, and you can really stretch out and get a lot of people interested in the product very, very quickly indeed.
Now you said before, that most of us skip the ads. Do we want to stop that happening, or is that just a natural, self-selection process? So only the most qualified leads are going to get through.
Yeah, this is a constant question I get. Actually, it's like because we're all precious about our brands, we don't want to annoy people, because let's face it, those pre-roll ads can be pretty annoying sometimes.
Yeah, they can be.
So we don't want so we don't want to be that guy or that business owner that's like just bombarding our audience with this like horrible ad all the time and just really annoying everybody. When that happens, when you run your campaigns, you can actually cap the number of impressions per day. So you could say, right, I only want this to be seen twice per user per day. So if you were looking up content then around YouTube advertising, you might see one of my pre-roll ads running, but you'd only get the opportunity to see that twice during the day. I could even make it once if I wanted to. But it means that then I'm not going to be bombarding you constantly. Also, the big benefit of YouTube as well is they're very, very sophisticated with their advertising. So I could even say, right, as soon as you've watched my video, I can then exclude viewers from my campaign, which means that as soon as you've watched it, you'll never see that ad again, because I know that you've seen that video, you didn't take action, or you did take action, whatever, but I know you've watched it and you've engaged with it. There's no need to show you that video again. Now, I could have that for like 30 days, for a year. It goes up to 540 days, I think it is, if I really wanted to make sure you never see that ad again. So it can be, you can control how much exposure you have per user, and it means that user experience for me is really, really important. I don't want to just be bombarding people all the time, and I know my clients take it very seriously as well. So user experience is important. You don't want to be bombarding people all the time, and I know that I just get fed up with brands when I just keep on seeing their message all the time. But yeah, you've got control over that.
Yeah, okay. Now, with these videos, you mentioned earlier on in the interview that the ideal length was between 2 and 3 minutes. Is it the same for a pre-roll ad, or should it be shorter? You said you don't get charged anything until they're over 30 seconds. I'm assuming they're going to be longer than that. What's the ideal length?
Yeah. So most people are saying, well, why don't I just create a video that's less than 30 seconds and every video is free? It doesn't work quite like that. If someone gets to the end of the video, it also costs you. I should have said that earlier.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering that, because we just all make 29-second videos and we're done.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Free advertising for life, yeah. No, if someone gets to the end of the video, it will cost you. But here's the trick. Here's what we do that kind of hacks the system a little bit. I don't like talking about it too much, because I don't think it's a good way to work with YouTube. You want to build a good relationship with YouTube, and you want to make sure that you're providing value to the community on YouTube. So the one thing you can do is you can create an ad that kind of promotes, and the ad would kind of finish the pitch of that video, would finish at like 20 seconds. So it's almost like you've done a 20-second video, and then you just pause for another 10 seconds or 20 seconds. Meaning that you're giving people time to click the link or whatever it is, and we found that there's an optimal time of 22 seconds. So if you said, I don't want to think of a script at the top of my head, but it's almost like if you're looking to buy or if you're interested in the best power kites in 2016, then stop what you're doing right now, because I'm going to show you the best power kite voted on Amazon, or the best gets 5-star reviews on Amazon every single time. It's this kite here. this is the why it's so good, blah, 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 and you finish that script almost by 20 seconds, then you would almost like have the buy now button appear on the video and someone can click that to go back to the website. But then you hold it until about 35 seconds or so. You're kind of forcing people to take action before 30 seconds is up. So whether they decide to skip the ad or whether they decide to press buy the ad or click the buy now button, you're kind of forcing that action at that stage. So you can do it that way. I now move away from that, and what I tend to do instead is, if I wanted to create a really short video and take advantage of this idea of getting the click to be forced before 30 seconds is up, what I do is I actually create a video which is content rich still, but very, very quick content. So I've got a video that works really well for me at the moment that just says, hey, look, if you're creating videos, do you know that if you use a white background instead of a black background, you can increase your conversion rates by 7 to 9%? And so if you want to find out more tips like that, click here right now. And so I'm providing good content in the video, and it's giving the user a good experience, and they're learning something within like 10 seconds or so. And then I'll have a call to action, like a very brief call to action at the end of that. Finish the ad by 20 seconds, and then just hold that that kind of call to action button on the page for like 10 seconds or so. So I feel like I'm actually providing value to the viewer, and I do loads of these did you know little videos. And anyone can do videos like that where they provide good content and good advice, etc. And it just means that you're showing an ad, but it's an ad that people feel like they've got something from.
Well, they're getting getting a tip straight away, aren't they? So they're getting some advice pretty quickly.
Exactly. And if you can do that, I mean, I always like to look at it like whenever I teach anybody anything, like on stage or like on the podcast now, and I know that I'm resonating with the audience at any point, I almost make a note of it. I'm like, great, I'll create a 10-second video about that. And those 10-second videos, like tiny little snippets, but those work incredibly well as little ads, because it's like if you can bombard people with this kind of content and did you know videos, people love that sort of stuff. They love like facts, they love information like this, and if it's related to your content, and did you know makes it related to your content, you'll find that you actually really connect with your audience and they know what you're about very quickly. Like when I say, did you know that you could do this about your backgrounds? It's only from our tests and our data. And so, but within that message is carried along, like we're testing this stuff all the time, and here's one of the results we got. Like here's a split test that we did, and here's the result of it. It carries so much credibility with it as well. And so like if someone's interested in marketing or advertising, they're going to be very interested in finding out more about what I've just said there. So it's kind of like a good quality content rich ad, but it can still be very, very short indeed.
Do you find with promotions, is it best to have like a freemium, so something for free that they opt in for, or are you finding that people can go straight to a landing page and book an appointment or a service call or buy a product? What are you finding is working really well?
So this comes under the fourth P, the pursuit, and it's different for different audiences. So I always start with the industry and say what's your what people doing in the industry that tends to be the status quo, like what's everyone used to, and if it's like a standard thing that everyone's used to, then I wouldn't necessarily say change everything right now. I mean, it's always good to disrupt the marketplace and all that sort of good stuff, but I think that having like almost like replicate what's being done by the best people in the industry, look at what people are doing from Google AdWords, because they're spending a lot more on their clicks, and they're making it work. So if there's a company that's been advertising on Google AdWords for a long time, you know in your niche that's going to be a good landing page. Wherever they're sending the traffic to, that's going to be a good landing page. I kind of look at that and see what's happening in the marketplace whenever I work with a client. But normally they'll say to me, okay, I've got this amazing webinar. I just need to promote that webinar, get more people there. That makes my life easier, because it's like they know what they want to do straight away, and they know they've got a really high converting webinar, for example. I'm seeing right now a really, really good campaign is do free press shipping. So it would be like maybe like a book or a DVD or something along those lines, where it's like you can have this product for free. It could be a low price product, but it's still valuable. It could be a book or a DVD, so it's easy to fulfill. but it's free plus the shipping. So it's like, you can get it for free, but please just pay the shipping so we can ship it out to you. It's a great product. It's a hard physical copy. It feels good when it like thuds on the doormat, for example. And so people feel like they've kind of connected with that business that much more effectively. But I'm finding that when people get their credit cards out to actually spend money on a free plus shipping, and the credit cards are in the system, it's actually, a lot of people are finding it that people want to upgrade. They say, yeah, I've made a decision to say, yes, I'm interested in this one product here. The upsells from there, you tend to find that you get a lot of people buying more and more products. But I always try and say to clients, look, when you're running any advertising, and it might be new to you, try and build in something whereby you can generate your numbers and work out your return on investment quickly. Not always easy, I understand that, but if you can have like a webinar that sells something on the webinar, great. You can, within a few days, you will know if your campaigns are building return on investment. I would avoid in the early days having this idea of like, I'm going to get an opt-in, and then there's this lead time of like 6 months, and then I'll know if I've made a good return or not. Because that's difficult. That's difficult to know your numbers, unless you know exactly what a lead is worth to you, and you're going to qualify those leads, for example. Then that's fine. But a lot of the time, I always say to people, try and get a quick turnaround from a lead to a customer, because then you can work out what's working best for you. And if you can break even on a low price product for your advertising, you're just generating customers for free then. And that's the sweet spot, because then you can really start scaling up and improving things, because the more you spend, the more you make. And that's the whole game right there, really.
Awesome. Well, we're just about out of time, so I think we could talk for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Because there is so much to know, and but I think what you've given today has been an awesome amount of knowledge and advice on what people can do if they want to get started. Now, if they want more information, Tom, how do they find? What's the best way for them to find you and get in contact and maybe get some of your learnings?
Yeah, so I think the best place for people to go would be tombreeze.com. On tombreeze.com, there's a lot of information there, but there's a masterclass presentation that I gave. And in that presentation, we go through kind of everything to do with YouTube advertising, from start to finish. Some of the content we've spoken about on this podcast, but when you obviously see me on stage in front of like 600 people and you see my slides, it just visually it kind of brings it all to life. And it might help people kind of see it again, but actually you'll see some of the things like where an ad might appear and how to use remarketing and all that sort of good stuff. Like just kind of like starts clarifying things a little bit more clearly. So on tombreeze.com, that's the site that I think people can go to. If you want to check out the agency as well, that's viewability.co.uk. And on there it gives a little bit more information about how we run as an agency. But if you want to learn it and understand how YouTube ads can be used in your business, and if you want to build it yourself, tombreeze.com is the place to go.
Awesome. So we'll make sure that's in the show notes. So tombreeze.com. The other thing you do is Tom Breeze has got a YouTube channel where he's got those the 5 steps to crushing it on YouTube. So we'll also put that link in the show notes, so you can go and check that out. But certainly encourage you to go and download the 75-minute masterclass presentation. It's absolutely free, and I can guarantee that if you spent the 75 minutes watching that, you will get a return on your investment. Because just what we've discussed today, even I've written a whole bunch of notes for myself, Tom. So sort of selfish of me. I almost do these podcasts just for me.
Yeah, consultancy. Yeah, love it.
and then just decide to share them with 10,000 other people. But there you go. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, mate. All we've got left to do now is the 60-second scramble, and then you can go to bed and get some sleep. Are you ready for the 60-second scramble, Tom?
Let's do it.
I love a guy who's got that gusto. What's the favourite app on your phone?
Scanner Pro.
Scanner Pro, awesome. Okay, what does that do? Let's pause this clock for a second.
To explain, yeah. So what it does is I can basically take a picture of any document using my camera on my phone, and it'll just save it as a PDF and ping it to my Dropbox, and I can use actually using that with another app that I use, which is If This Then That. It means that any photo I take or any scan that I take, it's just kind of like I can set up rules so it kind of like sends photos to Dropbox, or if I take a photo of a document, it'll PDF it and send it to my accountant, for example. Loads of different things like that.
Wow.
It just speeds up my life hugely.
So that's very cool. Okay, fantastic. Let's restart the clock. Do you have a hidden talent?
A hidden talent.
Yeah, hidden talent.
I can make a funny noise with my ear. This is. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Hang on. Let's. We've got to do this. I'm pausing the clock. Let's hear this noise. Let's do it.
All right. Hang on a second. I've got to put the mic close to my ear. 1 second. All right. Hang on a second. That's what I can do. That's my hidden talent.
It sounds like you're clicking, but that's your ear.
That's my ear. Yeah, it's a bit worrying actually. I probably should stop doing it.
Who knows what's going on there? All right, let's restart the clock. What have you got a favourite inspirational quote you can share with the listeners?
Good question. It's not creative if it doesn't sell.
I like it. What's your biggest addiction?
Work. Sad, isn't it?
Well, it sounds like it's your two young boys at the moment. Given the fact that your addiction is work, what's your number one tip for being more efficient?
Number one tip for being more efficient is to plan out the day and make sure you hit.
Make sure you. Don't tell me the Skype connections.
Definitely do those three.
Yeah, the Skype connections.
By the end of the day, and I always get done without that question.
You wouldn't believe it, but the Skype connection decided just to play up right at that point. So what?
Okay, do you want to do that one again?
Yes, please. Yes.
So yes, at the start of each day, I just book out three things that I know I'm definitely going to do that day, and without fail, even if I have to work till midnight, I'll make sure it happens. So yeah, three things in the day, plan out at the start of the day, and make sure I get them done.
Make sure you get them done. Good stuff. Well, once again, Tom, I really, really appreciate it. I know it's late in the evening there, and you haven't had much sleep over the last 4 days, but you performed extremely well. So, you'd be dangerous when you'd had plenty of sleep, let me tell you. So thanks so much for coming on the Business Brain Food Podcast, and we look forward to catching up with you shortly. Everybody, head to tombreeze.com and make sure you grab that 75-minute masterclass. I think you'll love it. Thanks again, Tom.
Thanks very much, Ben.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that podcast, and if you want to get more great content just like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. You'll see the button on the video right now.